Rockport man pleads guilty to operating a nationwide scheme to steal social media accounts and cryptocurrency. A Rockport man pleaded guilty today to conducting a scheme to take over victims' social media accounts and steal hundreds of thousands of dollars in cryptocurrency. This 21-year-old pled guilty to one count of conspiracy, 5 counts of wire fraud, 1 count of computer fraud and abuse, and 1 count of aggravated identity theft. They, they haven't set a sentence date yet for this actual individual, and also he had a couple of of accomplices, but primarily two of them that were also charged along with the co-conspirators of the same actual offenses. And these co-conspirators target victims who were believed to have significant amounts of cryptocurrency and those who had high value or OG slang for original gangster social media account names. Using an illegal practice known as SIM swapping, these actual co-conspirators they conspired to hack into and take control of these victims' online accounts to obtain things of value, including OG social media accounts names and cryptocurrency. So basically, how SIM swapping, they actually the attacks involve convincing a victim's cell phone carrier to reassign the victim's cell phone number from the SIMS card inside the victim's cell phone to the SIM card inside a cell phone controlled by the cyber criminals. After achieving that, these cyber criminals then posed as the victims with an online account provider and requested that the provider send account password reset links or an authentication code to the SIM swap device, now controlled by the cyber criminals. The cyber criminals can then reset the victim's account logins, credentials, and use those credentials to access the victim's account without authorization or hack into the account. And along with these, also his conspirators, they targeted at least 10 identified victims around the country and stole or attempted to steal more than 530,000 in cryptocurrencies from these victims. They also took control of two OG accounts with social media companies. So apparently, along with all the charges I named earlier, the charges, um, these charges all carry separate sentencing prison terms. So they can actually, the judge, depending on how he sees the situation, these guys are kind of young, so he might do it concurrently or, you know, just uh, all in the same. All he just makes up all the actual the penalties and the fines and the actual years. They might be able to do it all at once, or they might be divided into separate actual sentences, and they will run back to back. Unfortunately, that's the way the federal prison can actually do at the end of the day. And one of them actually, the wire fraud, you can get up to 20 years, just straight prison time on that, and the fine is hefty. And and on this actual theme, there was actually YouTube went with through a big scam. They targeted high actual number of channels, and according to Moist Critical, he had a video that actually was labeled that YouTube had a big scam going, and they were even able to actually convince a YouTuber by the name of Jim Browning to delete his YouTube channel. And this actual Jim Browning, he is known to take down entire scams off the internet. And he is super good with computers. And at one time, he even hacked into an office CCTV cameras just to gather info on this group conducting scams, just to get info on these actual scammers. And so when they actually convinced this YouTuber to delete his channels, you know that these actual scammers are good. You know what I mean? And he's the type to have all your info. He actually will do some very good things with computers that he can get your info within hours. You know what I'm saying? So just remember, no Google account is ever going to ask you for your actual passwords. They might ask you to authenticate, but never will they ask you for your actual passwords at any time. And apparently, these guys were so good that they were actually using Google accounts to make it sound convincing for other scams. Okay, guys, don't forget to like, subscribe.